Hi, it's Kai and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tattoo and piercing tour, which I actually already filmed once before, but I felt like I was rambling too much, so I wanted to refilm it so that it would not be 40 minutes long. So anyway, without further ado, let's just jump into it. I am going to make the same disclaimer though. I'm not claiming to be like the most tattooed or pierced person in the entire world. I just like tattoos and piercings, and I have plans for other ones this year and kind of wanted to like document my progress with my tattoos and piercings and stuff and just see how they like evolve and change and stuff like that. Anyway, disclaimer over. First of all, the most boring piercings that most girls get when they are young. A lot of people get them done when they're born, but I actually did not get them done when I was like a baby. I got my first lobe piercing done when I was, I think, 8 years old. It was like a store inside a mall, I think like a piercing pagoda type of thing. And then my second piercing I actually got done in a Walmart, and honestly my ear piercings have been like the most difficult as far as like healing. Like I still get irritated in my second hole very often. I actually have these Mason Maru earrings in that they sent to me, and they're really good. They haven't irritated my ears at all, and they have like the flat back and stuff. And you can even see like on the back of my ear I have like keloids and a lot of scarring. So not really like getting a lot more ear piercings. I do want more ear piercings if I do get more ear piercings, and we'll talk a little bit more about ear piercings later, but if I do get more ear piercings, I probably will need to get it pierced immediately with like a high quality metal, like probably just go ahead and do solid gold. So my actual first like body piercing, I was a sophomore in college, was having a rough time, and was originally going to get my nipples pierced first, but my mom was just kind of like, hey, maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to like get something a little bit less intense for your first body piercing. So let me see if I can stand up. So this is my belly button piercing. I currently have like a snake in this. Again, have had this since my sophomore year of college. I feel like it's not really focusing, or having a hard time focusing. Let me see. That's where the little green thing is. But yeah, I have had it since, like I said, sophomore year of college, and honestly it was one that I feel like was a pretty decent healing process, as well as like the piercing itself didn't really hurt that bad. I would say it's probably like a 2 or a 3. I did get a little bit dizzy afterward, which that's something that's kind of common with me, or I shouldn't say common, but it's happened a few times when I've gotten like ear piercings, stuff like that. So definitely make sure, of course, all of the basic stuff like you've eaten that day, haven't been drinking or under the influence of any substances. And also I would recommend like drinking or eating something sugary. I realized the times that I had like a coffee or again something really sugary beforehand, those were the times that my piercing or tattoo I felt like didn't hurt as much, as well as it just like was like a more seamless process. I didn't get dizzy or nauseated or anything like that. But like I said, I did get a little like dizzy. So if you do get dizzy, just like sit down. I just sat down for a second. Again, pain level like a 2 or 3 out of 10. It's something that like if for whatever reason I had to get it re-pierced, like I don't know what reason I would take my belly button piercing out and it would close up, but it is one that I think I would get re-pierced. Then we move into senior year of college, where like 2 weeks before, or not even that, I honestly feel like it was the week before or even a few days before, my senior year of college started, my long-term boyfriend at the time broke up with me. And one thing that he would always say, like I had wanted to get my nipples pierced, and he would be like, no, don't get it done because, you know, centering himself in his pleasure. And of course, like a dum-dum, I did that, and then like the minute that we broke up, I texted my best friend and I was like, hey, I want to go get my nipples pierced. So I did get that done. I got it done at the same place that I got my belly button done, so like I knew the piercer, and it was like they were very professional about it. I knew it was going to be a nice seamless process, and I had also, I think, gone there with other friends to get piercings or maybe tattoos or just different things at that shop, so I felt comfortable going there at that time. I will say this was one of the most painful piercings that I have, and I mean, I don't really have a lot of piercings, you know, but it was definitely up there. I would say it was probably like well, the thing is like you have to consider the fact that there's two piercings. It's like you're getting pierced twice. So like the first nipple, it hurt really, really bad. Like I screamed out in pain. I had my best friends and my sister in the room. My older sister had actually flown out from Colorado because we were going to a Beyonce concert, but that's all beside the point. My mom was out in the lobby. She didn't want to like be in the room because she was scared it was gonna make her queasy to like see the needle go through and everything. But like I screamed oh shit, because it, like, I actually said that expletive and all for everyone in the shop to hear, because it definitely hurt. Like you can feel every single second of it. And then unlike when I got my belly button pierced, like I felt like you didn't really feel the jewelry going in. You definitely feel the jewelry being put in. It's like getting it almost like feels like the way that it rubs, and then afterwards it definitely is like this mixture between just being sore and almost a little bit of a burning sensation. And I'm sure that's a little bit because like the area was sanitized and like everything was sanitized, but you know, it was woo. And then you have to like get the second one done. So the first one was probably like a 6 out of 10. And then the second one was like a 7, 7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10. That was the one that was just like, And then I also have to say with this one of the not as fun healing processes, if you go, number one, off the bat, when you go and get it done, wear a bra. I have not worn a bra since like 2018, 2019, somewhere in there. And it just was something that I didn't really do. I didn't think of, and I felt every bump, every pothole on the way home. So definitely have something that's a little bit more secure up there, and hopefully your route home doesn't have a lot of potholes. I live in Atlanta, unfortunately, so it's pothole city. Anyone can tell you that. But yeah, so that is one thing that I would definitely recommend with that, as well as just even throughout like the healing process, because especially I got mine done like in the fall, and of course they were not, you know, healed by winter time, and they would get snagged on sweaters and stuff like that, so that obviously made the healing worse. I don't recommend changing these out. Like honestly, I would say give it at least 6 to 8 months. If you're a person like me who heals a little bit slower and tends to get irritated by jewelry, maybe even longer. I almost wish that I had waited like because I think I did wait like 3 or 4 months. I remember changing them out around Christmas time, I want to say. So yeah, I definitely didn't wait as long as I should have to have, you know, change them out. And I also changed them into like a horseshoe type. Definitely don't do that, because like the weight of them and the shape of them just like it doesn't yield to the healing process. It's much better with like the straight light barbells. Don't get anything with chains. Don't get anything that like snags any more than like the regular barbell. It's definitely one that like takes a while. Honestly, I would say that mine have probably only really healed in the last like 2 years or so. So I had them for quite a while, almost like what, that would have been like 4 or 5 years before they really healed to the point where it's like now I can just take jewelry in and out like pretty easily, not feel like it's irritating, not have like little irritation bumps come up and stuff like that, or even sometimes like bleeding when I'm trying to change them out. Like I said, these are ones where some people even argue that your nipple piercings never actually heal. So yeah, these I would say like have the most like intensive healing process, but it's not like the most painful or the worst healing process. Then I started getting tattoos because I like kind of sort of got back together with that ex, and then they broke up with me again. So of course I was just like, and I'm a Scorpio, so like me changing something about myself is kind of like the way that I like cope. I'm just like, I need to transform, I need to be something different, I need to look different, like I just need to be a different person. So I scheduled with my best friend again, the same best friend, to get tattoos done. I think she got like a mermaid on her side. I think that's when we got both of those done. But anyway, this one's really special to me because I actually had a college friend, one of the ones who was there when I got my nipples pierced, draw it for me. So it is my sternum / chest tattoo. It's some daisies, just like 2 daisies and little flowers. In retrospect, and I got this done at the same place that I got like all of my piercings done. In retrospect, I wish I would have gotten this a little bit bigger because I do feel like over the years it has kind of like blown out, especially in the middle to where you can't really see any of the detail, and it just kind of looks like, I don't know, I feel like you can barely tell that they're flowers. So I don't know if I would get it like redone or anything. Part of me is like, if I did get it redone, I would want to reach out to their original friend who did it to see if they could reimagine it, because I still really want their art on my body. That's something that I really enjoy, is like every different artist. Like I'm not a person who needs to go to the same tattoo artist each time or have the same style all over my body, because I see it as almost like collecting different people's like art and art styles and seeing how they like interpret either my concept into art or like this flash piece into art, like, you know, just like a piece of their art. So yeah, that's that on that. I would say this one was painful, probably like a 6 or 7 out of 10. The parts of the stem that were like closer to the fleshy bits of my stomach, those were the parts that hurt the most. Honestly, like up on the chest, which I had heard growing up the exact opposite, that like the more bony parts of what you're getting pierced like hurt more. In my experience, it's opposite. The more fleshy parts of my body are the ones that hurt the most. So then of course I had to go for the gold with my second piercing and getting it in another place that is traditionally seen as like a painful place. Honestly, I would say probably maybe like a 5 out of 10. It's this one. Sorry that I'm kind of flicking you guys off. Me and my friend were in Destin for a, you know, just beach trip that we wanted to take together. It was, I think, right before I went to grad school, so 2019, and we had watched Something Great together, and then we were just like, oh, let's get tattoos, and she didn't end up getting a tattoo, but I got this because I felt like it kind of looks like, or like the Pinterest search said it was an olive branch, or like olive branch inspired, and I liked the idea of like putting something on my body that is a reminder of like peace, a reminder of like a truce, and kind of, I guess to me, a reminder to be gentle and patient and forgiving of myself. and like when I do things wrong, when I'm not a good person, stuff like that. So that is my second one. And I don't even remember the name of the shop. Like I said, it was somewhere in like the Destin / Fort Walton Beach area, like on that really long strip of like highway and beach, somewhere along there. I know there's probably like a million and one places, but that's all I can tell you. So then I went to grad school, and during a break in which I had a lot of revelations about a specific person in my life, I was just like, again, I need to get a new tattoo. Like, I need to be different. I need to like feel different. So I got my side tattoo, which is just a rose. Again, very like just common flash. This one, it hurt. Again, it hurt more so like on the fleshy bits in between my ribs and like closer down here. I would say ribs, those were probably like a 6 or a 7. They were pretty painful. Again, not the most painful. I really like this one. I really want to get like another flower on the other side, like to match it, because something that like I've been toying around with the idea of is having my tattoos be asymmetrical, essentially. So like having similar themes or similar things on different parts of my body. Yeah, so it's just like I have a rose on this side and maybe like a cousin of the rose plant or something. I would have to do more research. Then I got out of grad school and I started working my full-time job. I'm a CPA, and I was working specifically in like business federal tax returns, you know, and that was like a grind. And there was like a night, I think it was a Friday night actually, where I got off of work or like offline at 8:45ish, and I was living with my sisters at the time, and I just called out to them and said, hey, do you want to go get my ear pierced? And realistically, like the first piercing that I ever wanted, like different piercing or like alternative piercing that I ever wanted back when I was like 12 or 13, was my industrial done. And so I was just like, oh, let me go ahead and get my industrial. It's something that I've wanted done since I was a kid. Let me satisfy the inner child in me. So I got it done. This was the most painful piercing that I've ever had. Again, similar idea with like the nipples, where it's essentially you're getting 2 piercings at one time, because they go through the top part of your ear first, take a break, and then they push it through the bottom part. They don't just do it in one fell swoop, because they have to make sure it's lined up. And I think on top of the fact that I just had like a shorter like area, I just don't think that I had the ear anatomy for a barbell, at least not a straight across barbell, and it just never really healed correctly on me, which you can still tell. I have like little keloids / scars on them. They're actually like smaller than they were. They're not that bad, but they did do that, and eventually it got so bad. I think I had kept it in maybe a year. It might have actually been less than a year, and it just got so irritated, especially the top one, that I took them out to replace them with like hoops, hoping that that would help them heal, like just have them heal separately and then maybe try to put another one in there, but that didn't really work. Well, it's not that it didn't work for me, it's that the top one, I think, ended up falling, or I think the top one was just a little bit too far gone as far as it being irritated, and then the second one started getting more irritated, and then the hoop fell out, and I was just kind of like, I feel like this is my sign that this piercing wasn't meant to be. But as far as the pain scale, it was probably, I would say, like a 9 out of 10, and like I said, mine literally did not heal. I didn't even have it long enough to give it like a full healing process, honestly. So that's why I say that if I do get ear piercings again, I think that I am just going to go for straight up solid gold jewelry, and I probably won't get anything like an industrial again. I would see if maybe like what is this, the Dave or Doth, I think that is the pronunciation, I don't know, something like that. I don't know if I would touch my cartilage again, but yeah, I think ear piercings for me, they're just not my jam. Other body piercings have healed, but it's like on my body I kind of don't really have a lot of real estate for piercings, because I, you know, like don't, at this point, don't have the ability to get face piercings because I work a really professional type of job, and I'm not really into like body piercings, like I think they're dermals. That's not really my thing. So yeah, I think that's probably it for my piercing journey. Gonna just do the tattoo things because they heal a lot better for me. So then what's the next one? I think the next tattoo that I got was, I had like a partner and we broke up, of course. So I needed to get a tattoo, and I got this, again, kind of basic snake. You've probably seen something like this on Pinterest before, and this, I got it done. So up to this point, I had all of my body modifications except for my finger one done at the same place. And this was like the experience for me that made me not feel really comfortable going back there, and I haven't been back there for a tattoo or a piercing since, because the what do you call it, the tattooer in this one really hurt. For me, thigh tattoos were the most painful. Like, I was shaking, I was sweating through like the little paper that they put down on the, you know, the tissue paper. I sweat through that. Again, I was shaking. It was very painful for me. Probably like a 9.5. I would say 10, but like, I feel like 10 out of 10 needs to be reserved for something that was like, you did pass out or you did tap out, but it was one that like made me feel like I wanted to tap out. I had jerked my leg really hard when, like involuntarily, when one of the, you know, I felt one of the strokes, and I was like, oh, sorry, to the tattooer, and he was like, don't say sorry to me, it's you who would have a fucked up tattoo. And I was just like, I get that tattoo culture is like hard and harsh, but I feel as though like someone is literally sweating bullets, like shaking, trying to get through a tattoo, and for you to say that to them when they are like trying to stay as still as possible and they involuntarily jerk. I was just like, I don't feel like this is like a conducive environment to a person like me. So I haven't been back to that shop since. But like I said, that would probably be a 9 out of 10. That was the closest that I was to being like, hey, I need, and I think we did take breaks. I can't even remember this experience, because I think after that happened, especially, I just kind of like dissociated for the rest of it, and then was like, oh, I have a new tattoo. So it's like, I like this tattoo. I love snakes. I really resonate with them as an animal. And like them shedding their skin, again, kind of Scorpio type of energy, but I really don't like how the tattooer treated me. And I think that if I were in the current era of my life, I probably wouldn't have like made him stop and ask for another artist, but I definitely would have like complained or like, you know, made it a bigger deal and just been like, you don't have to be an asshole, like you obviously see that I'm in pain. So yeah, that happened. And then what is my next one? I believe my next one is this. I had gotten back together with that partner and then we broke up again. So one weekend I was going out with my older sister and someone that she was seeing, and they were like, let's go get tattoos. And we found this tattoo shop that stayed open until like 3 a.m. because we were at, what is it, Ben and Jerry's? Not Ben and Jerry's, Dave and Buster's. So we had been there, and so we found a place that stayed open late. We all, you know, chose something to get, and so I decided I wanted to get this, which, let me just take my watch off real quick. But I got this wrist / forearm tattoo because I always kind of wanted something like winding up my arm, but I was like, I don't know if I should get a snake because I already have a snake on my body. Now I don't really care as much about having like duplicate animals or duplicate tattoos, but I do kind of want to get original things first. Anyway, again, another artist where I would not recommend and would probably never go back, or if I did go back, I would specifically ask not to have the artist that I had, because number one, this is just technically probably my worst tattoo, even though I get complimented on it all the time. Like if you look up close, there's shaky lines. There's lines that like before they had blown out a little bit, because all of my tattoos blow out. Before they had blown out, like you could tell that the little lines through the middle of the leaves had like gone past where he'd marked the end of the leaf. And this also really hurt. This was another one where I almost tapped out. I would say it was, well, it's like mixed, because the back of my forearm, this didn't hurt at all. This would be like a 3 out of 10, but this part, and I think once he saw that it was painful for me, especially because the dude was a misogynist, like the way he was talking about how he like cheats on every one of his girlfriends and doesn't respect women and bitches and all of that stuff, like I could tell. It's again another one where, well, number one, the craftsmanship wasn't that great for him to be like talking up himself like he was the hottest thing around, but I definitely feel like he might have been a person who like saw me in pain and like started pushing harder because of that. So yeah, another one where I was like shaking and stuff, probably a 9.5. And for my tattoos aftercare, I just put on, because mine get really itchy and I don't have the will to not scratch at them, especially when I have like acrylics and stuff. So I just leave Saniderm. I actually have my own Saniderm for at home in case there's a parlor that doesn't have it. But I will leave Saniderm on, put Saniderm on until it's completely healed, until it's not healing anymore, because otherwise I'm gonna scratch at it. And then around the same time, like within a few weeks of each other, or possibly even a few days, it was a little bit of a blur, I got my other thigh tattoo, another really painful one, but this one was definitely worth it and I had a much better time. So it's the Scorpio constellation, but it's made out of forget-me-nots and daisies. Daisies are one of my favorite flowers, and the tattoo artist who did that was actually really nice. He, like, it was another one, like I said, it was really painful. This one, though, I did use numbing cream for. And I would say that the numbing cream probably took what would have been like a 9 out of 10 down to a 7.5 or an 8. It wasn't like, you know, super effective, but once he was able to get going and once I like got over the dizziness, because I did get dizzy at one point, but again, he was super nice and he was like, if you're going to pass out, just fall forward. So that was great. I had a great experience with that. Again, one of my favorite tattoos. I just think it's so pretty, even though, again, like all of my tattoos have, because I've gotten like bigger since I've gotten a lot of them. They've blown out and stuff, but I feel like this one is one where a lot of the detail you can still see even though it's blown out a little bit. So definitely, again, one of my favorite ones, one of the ones that I resonate with the most. And again, kind of going back to the idea of like matching or asymmetrical tattoos, I've thought about maybe getting like the constellation of either my moon or rising sign on the other leg, but I haven't decided on that yet. Then I went back to that same shop to get this tattoo done. And so this would have been in 2021 at this point. No, 2022, by the way, just so that we have like a timeline of when I got these, because I don't want people to think that I was able to get all of these piercings and tattoos at one time. They're expensive, you're gonna pay for them, and probably like build them over time. Tattoos are almost like perfume collecting or makeup collecting or anything. Like, you build your own curation of them over time with what you can, or honestly jewelry collecting is probably a better analogy. Like, you build pieces that are unique to you over time. Some people might get really big pieces all at once, and some people might like a collection of smaller pieces, but like, it's all yours. Anyway, I got this done because I had a falling out with like a really close friend of mine, and it really shook me. Like, even to this day, it still shakes me. And so I got this, it's a perfume bottle with lotus flowers, and I do feel as though, like, I toy with the idea of getting it shaded so that it looks like there's liquid in there. But it's like, has a lotus flower on top and lotus petals floating inside, and it's supposed to be like, again, lotus flowers are representative of like rebirth and regeneration and stuff like that. So I saw it as a symbol of that. Then last year in March of 2023, me and my sisters went to, or me, my sister, and her girlfriend at the time, we went to what is that called? Like a tattoo convention. And basically there were a whole bunch of booths. You could get anything that you wanted, basically. And so I got this one. It was from an artist in Denver. And if I can find the little card that I had, I remember one of their cards was like Nest Art Collective. So it's one of the parlors that is like involved in that. But it is so cute. It is my cherry tattoo. I absolutely love it. So it's like a woman or person holding her cherry tatas. It's a woman because I want it to be, but I absolutely love this. It's my most like fine line tattoo. It has such awesome detail, and it is just so incredibly cute. I love it so much. And I went in there saying like, I don't want something if it's not a like cute strawberry tattoo or a cute cherry tattoo. And so I found this one, and I'm so happy with it. I would say this pain wise was probably like maybe a 5 out of 10, if that. I would say probably a 4.5 at the most. Like, it hurt the most down here, again towards like my elbow, but up here it was smooth sailing. And then lastly, my most recent tattoo I got because a tattoo shop near me was doing a charity event where all of the proceeds went toward a specific charity, and I was like, this is a good cause, and I want a new tattoo. So I got this one in, I think it was August of last year. It's a strawberry, and I absolutely love it. It was like part of the flash that they were doing, and this one really resonated with me, so I was able to get my cherry and then my strawberry too. And it's the first one that I have that really has more intense shading on it. And at first I didn't know how to feel about that because all of my other ones are, you know, just outline, but I kind of like it. So I think I'm going to start incorporating a little bit more shading into some of my tattoos. But that's it. That's all of my piercings and tattoos. I know that was a long video. If you stuck with me, I appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a safe and healthy day, week, whatever, until I see you next time. I'm gonna go get some water because my throat is parched for talking for like 40 minutes.